Doc Green, the Rose Scholar, coming back at you. I am in my son's studio that he has built, trying to learn how to use all this new fancy equipment and everything. So that's where you see a bed in the background. Everything is my son's room actually, and he's built making it into his studio, which I might show you all that here in a little bit. But right now, I want to do this video about Joe Biden, and I want to pause him every once in a while and correct where he is flat out lying.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I know you're hearing a lot about something called supply chains and how hard it is to get a range of things from a toaster to sneakers to bicycles to bedroom furniture. and that's why back in February, I signed a piece of legislation on supply chain, an executive order on supply chains, and well, we had to move on it. And with the holidays coming up, you might be wondering if the gifts you plan to buy will arrive on time. Well, let me explain. Supply chains essentially mean how we make things and how the material and parts get delivered to a factory, so we can manufacture things and manufacture them here. How we move things, how a finished product moves from a factory to a store to your home. And today we have an important announcement that
Okay, let me correct him right there. First of all, supply chain is not how we can get products to manufacturers here and then they can make them and then we can move to. Supply chain is just a movement of goods and products. That's it. So if we order a bicycle from China, but it gets built over there and the minute it comes off the assembly line, it becomes part of the supply chain. It goes to a box, it gets coated, it gets shipped to a shipping station, usually loaded up in a container, put on a truck, taken from a truck to a ship yard or a train station, the train, or what we call intermodal station, and the container will then be brought off there and put onto a train, shipped to another intermodal station halfway across China. It'll come off there onto another truck. It'll go from that truck to a shipping yard. From it gets taken off the truck there, put into a stack next to a lot, basically a big old concrete lot. It's a parking lot for containers, and they stack these things up. Ships come in, and then they load them from the dock onto a ship. The ship brings it across the United States, gets it to our port. Then our port unloads it off there, puts it back on the dock here in the United States, and then a truck pulls up there, and it's got gas. They take it, put it on the back of that truck, and then that truck takes it on in to another train station or intermodal station, intermodal hub, and that's what we call it. And then it goes from there to wherever it goes in the United States. Memphis, Tennessee, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. It doesn't matter. Wherever they got an intermodal hub. And then it pull in there, and another crane picks it up off the train, sets it onto a chassis. The chassis gets pulled into a parking spot. A semi comes in there, hooks up to it, pulls out, and delivers it to its final destination. That's a supply chain. So when he's talking about, oh, it's goods in America, he's trying to sell you on the idea that we actually make things here in America, which very little things that we make are in America. Very little few things that we buy are made in America. So that's the first thing I want to correct him on. It isn't to bring raw materials into America to manufacture and then to ship to stores. That's not supply chain. It's him trying to make it sound that way.
Things you buy to the shelves faster. I'm joined by the Executive Director of the Ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, Gene Soroka, and Mario Cordono. I apologize, Mario. And the President of the International Longshoremen's Union, Willie Adams. Los Angeles and Long Beach are home to two of the largest ports in America. And together, these ports are among the largest in the world. And the best way to make that point is that 40% of shipping containers that we import into this country come through these two ports. And today we have some good news. We're going to help speed up the delivery of goods all across America. After weeks of negotiation and working with my team and with the major union retailers and freight movers, the Port of Los Angeles announced today that it's going to begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hold it. Stop. Okay, first of all, Here's the problem. The ports cannot operate now at the capacity they're going. They cannot operate their regular business hours, much less going 24 hours, 7 days a week. So that's the problem. The ports don't have enough workers on there to keep the cranes running, to keep the logistics moving, to keep the dispatchers running. See, when the container comes in, it gets pulled off the ship and put over here. But that ship has to be logged. It has to be tracked. You need forklift operators. You need crane operators. You need logistics experts. You need dispatchers. You need guys working on the yard to guide the crane. You need mechanics. You need guards. There's so many people that you need to work at these ports. See, him saying, oh, we talked to them, the ports, and they've agreed we're going to work 24 hours a day, and he's giving all these unions credit for working with them and, doing this. The truth is, the unions have been fighting against keeping these ports open for 24 hours a day for decades. In a minute, he's going to tell you about how the rest of the world has already been running 24 hours a day, and we're just now starting, and we're behind. Yes, we're behind because the unions have been fighting that. The union workers only want to work during the day, Monday through Friday. They want to be off at nights, like all of us want to be. But these ports should have been opened up 24 hours a day for a long time. So when he says logistics, he starts talking about how great the unions are working with them and everything. That's the problem. The unions haven't been working with them. They got all this time off for their workers and everything. And so for them to say that we're finally going 24 hours because my team and unions, we're great buddies. No, you're going 24 hours because you probably went there and told the unions you got to do this because we got to get products moving.
This follows the Port of Long Beach's commitment to 24/7 that it announced just weeks ago. 24/7 system, what most of the leading countries in the world already operate on now, except us, until now. This is the...
Okay, so that's a good question. Like he said, most of the leading countries in the world have already been running on 24/7. Except for us, until now. Why is it until now? Very simply put, because the unions did not want to go 24/7. The Democrat-backed unions did not want to go 24/7. That's why. Should have been 24/7 for decades, and we haven't been.
First key step toward moving our entire freight, transportation, and logistical supply chain nationwide to a 24/7 system.
Okay, first of all, let me explain too. We're already on a 24-hour system. The ports in Long Beach and Los Angeles may not be on a 24-hour system, but the rest of the United States is. The rail yards, there's 3 of them in DFW that I know of. There's the KCS, the UP, and the Santa Fe and BNSF out in Haslett. These run 24 hours a day. Our trucks can go in there and pull containers out. The trains are coming in 24 hours a day. They're getting loaded in and out and everything when people are working. When the rail need crews to get on these trains, and when everyone doesn't show up, then the train has to stay there and wait for somebody. If someone calls in sick, then the train has to wait there for another person to come in and get on that train and everything in order to move it into the yard to get unloaded and everything. It's a large process, so everyone has to be there. So we've already been running 24 hours around the rest of the world. Just the union-run ports have not been running 24 hours.
Here's why it matters. Traditionally, our ports have only been open during the week, Monday through Friday, and they're generally closed down at nights and on weekends.
Correct.
By staying open 7 days a week through the night and on the weekends, the Port of Los Angeles will open over 60 extra hours a week will be open. In total, that will almost double the number of hours that the port is open for business from earlier this year. That means an increase in the hours for workers to be moving cargo off ships onto trucks and rail cars to get...
Right. If you can find the workers, that's the problem. You can't even find the workers to work during the normal shift that they're already there. Now you're going to open it to 24 hours. How are you going to get these workers in there? Because you and Governor Newsom, have already made it clear that these guys don't have to come in. They need to stay at home. They need to be sick or stay safe from COVID or whatever. You shut this down. We, the American truck drivers and the rest of the country that works in the supply chain, told y'all what would happen over a year and a half ago, and Dum Dum here wouldn't listen. And Trump at least listened. He couldn't get the unions to budge because he's Republican, unions are Democrat backed and everything. So what he did is he suspended the hours of service for truck drivers to run 24 hours a day back then. Dum Dum here hasn't figured that part out yet. Dum Dum here, he really honestly got Dum Dum here believes that he can get the ports running 24 hours a day when there's nobody working 24 hours a day. He can't even get workers now. Continue.
To their destination. And more than that, the night hours are critical for increasing the movement of goods because highways are less crowded in the evening, at night.
Right, Dum Dum. That's what we've been trying to tell y'all for decades about those ports. Y'all wouldn't listen, Dum Dum. Instead, you listen to the unions and you got yourself in a bind, and now the whole country's screwed.
In fact, during off-peak hours in Los Angeles, cargo leaves the port at a 25% faster pace than during the day shift.
And you know who told them that? Truckers unions, truckers groups, trucking organizations, OOIDA, American Truckers Association, transportation companies. They've been telling this for decades. Notice how he already knows the numbers? It moves at 25% an hour fast. How would he know this? Because someone's already done the study trying to convince the unions to open these things up 24 hours a day way before now. And he backed the unions.
So by increasing the number of late night hours of operation and opening up for less crowded hours when the goods can move faster, today's announcement has the potential to be a game changer. I say potential because all of these goods won't move by themselves. For the positive impact to be felt all across the country and by all of you at home, we need major retailers who ordered the goods and the freight movers who take the goods from the ships to factories.
Listen how stupid this is.
To step up as well. These private sector companies are the ones that hire the trucks and rail cars and move the goods.
You think?
On this score, we have some good news to report as well. Today, Walmart, our nation's largest retailer, is committing to go all in on moving its products 24/7 from the ports to their...
Okay, let me explain something. Walmart has always moved products 24/7. They're not committing to do it. Walmart has been trying to get them to do this, to open up those ports 24 hours a day. Walmart wants their products in because Walmart wants to sell them. So when he says Walmart is committed to going in finally with us and on 24 hours a day, Walmart has always, guys, you know it. If you look out there anytime you're driving at nighttime, you see Walmart trucks all over the place. 24 hours a day, Walmart's working. And right now, I happen to be doing a contract with Walmart, and we're packed up in those offices every day, waiting on freight. So we've been running. Dum Dum here, him and his little crony friends at the union, they're the ones who kept the port shut down, so we couldn't run 24 hours a day. So when he's going to go, the major retailers, you know, mention Walmart, Home Depot, Samsung, and you know, whenever he's talking about all these major retailers going 24/7, they've been 24/7. How do I know? Because I used to run intermodal to them 24/7, to the Lowe's stores 24/7, and the Home Depot, not stores, but to the warehouses where their trucks are waiting to get switched in and out and move out. Truck drivers they've already been running 24/7. The only people in this entire chain who has not been running 24/7, Sleepy Joe, is your union buddies.
Stores nationwide. Specifically, Walmart is committing as much as a 50% increase in the use of off-peak hours over the next several weeks. Additionally, FedEx and UPS, two of our nation's biggest freight movers, are committing today to significantly...
Today. So, guys, y'all never seen FedEx trucks and UPS trucks on the road at midnight and from nighttime hours before? They've always been 24 hours a day. That's been one of their biggest things. Overnight deliveries. This is a joke. He's trying to sell you on something like he talked these people into it and everything. They've been begging him and his union buddies at these ports to run 24 hours a day so that they can move freight for years, for decades. Don't let this man fool you.
Increase the amount of goods they're moving at night. FedEx and UPS are the shippers for some of our nation's largest stores, but they also ship for tens of thousands of small businesses all across America. Their commitment to go all in on 24/7 operations means that businesses of all sizes will get their goods on shelves faster and more reliably.
Not true. And here's why. Because the small businesses who only have about 5 or 6 employees working in their little stores and everything are only open out during daytime hours. So what he's saying is he wants, like, let's say a mom and pop store or something to come in at midnight and start stocking their shelves. They're not going to do that. FedEx is still going to deliver to them during the day, and FedEx is still going to deliver to Walmart and them at nighttime, just like they always have. And these big warehouses at nighttime, just like they always have. So that is not correct when he starts saying that we need the small retailers and they're all going to get their products and be able to stock shelves a lot faster. They're only going to be able to stock their shelves faster if they get the product.
Accordingly, according to one estimate, together, FedEx and UPS alone move up to 40% of packages in America, up to 40%. And other companies are stepping up as well. They include Target, Home Depot, and Samsung.
Again, all that have already been running
committed to
24
ramp
hours
up
a
their
day.
activities that utilize off-peak hours at the ports.
Again, they've already been doing that.
So, the commitments being made today are a sign of major progress in moving goods from manufacturers to a store or to your front door.
The only people that has really made a move and did anything to help out in this thing is the unions. He finally got the unions to open up the ports 24 hours a day. Everybody else he has mentioned, he acted like we negotiated, we talked, and we spoke with, and we've been working with. They've all been trying to get him and his union buddies to do this for decades. So the only ones really doing this, and the ones he's going to give the praise to, watch this.
I want to thank my supply chain disruption task force, which we set up in June, led by Secretaries Buttigieg, Raimondo, and Vilsack, and by my Director of National Economic Council, Brian Deese. I want to thank them for their leadership. And I especially want to thank
for their leadership. I want to thank them for meeting with the unions and let's finally getting this worked out so the unions will open the ports, because he acts like they've been talking with Walmart and Target and all of them to get them on board. They've already been on board. Again.
For Kari. I think Joe's done one heck of a job.
Watch him start thinking the unions. Watch him start thinking the unions.
Who's been working this issue with all the stakeholders for the past several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to thank the port directors. I want to thank Gene and Mario again, and the mayors of Los Angeles and Long Beach, Mayor Garcetti.
All these people that have been keeping the ports closed at nighttime and on weekends for decades. We want to thank them. Thank them.
And Mayor Garcia for their leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the private companies that are stepping up, I want to thank them, but I particularly want to thank labor.
Do you hear that?
Adams,
unions.
The Longshoremen and Warehouses Union.
See, when he says laborers, he doesn't mean laborers. He means the union bosses. He says laborers because he wants to appeal to you, but if you listen to who he really thanks, he thanks the union bosses. He's kissing the union bosses' butts because he finally got them to open up 24 hours a day like they should have been for decades. Listen to who he thanks here for a while.
Who is here today? The Teamsters, the rail unions from the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen, and the International Association of Machinists, to the American Train Dispatchers Association, to Sheet Metal, Air and Rail, and Transportation Workers Union, known as SMART. I want to be clear.
See, he wants to thank everybody that's been holding it up for decades. He wants to thank all the Teamsters who demanded every one of their truck drivers take a 15-minute break every couple hours. All their employees take a 15-minute break. So that's time they're not working. An hour-long lunch. Get certain times off. Don't work certain hours. Get off at certain times so the ports close at nighttime and everything. The Teamsters. That's what I'm saying. He wants to thank all the groups that have been keeping our ports closed for decades when they should have been open. That's who he wants to thank. And he treats everyone else. Listen how he treats the other drivers. Come on, go on. Let's go.
This is across-the-board commitment to going to 24/7. This is a big first step in speeding up the movement of materials and goods through our supply chain.
No crap.
Now we need the rest of the private sector chain.
What? Now he needs the rest of the private sector chain? Listen close, people. I want you to listen close to what he's about to say, because this is where he pisses me off.
To step up as well. This is not called a supply chain for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This means that terminal operators, railways, trucking companies, shippers, and other retailers as well. Strengthening our supply chain.
Do you hear that? All the private industries that aren't unionized, all the ones that have been begging them to open their ports 24 hours a day. Now, those are the ones who need to step up. Not the unions who have been keeping the ports closed at nighttime and on weekends. Not any of those unions. Remember, he named off about 7 or 8 different unions. None of them. Oh, we thank them for being there. Let me kiss your butt cheek. Let me dust it off here. Lick it up real good. Kiss that butt cheek because y'all are my voters and good guys. But now we need all the private sector to step up. Dude, we're the ones who kept this damn country running while you were hiding in your basement. It was the private truck drivers. It was the independent truck drivers. It's the small trucking companies that begged you and told you what was going to happen if you kept the country shut down, if you kept paying people to stay at home, if you kept paying your union buddies not to work. And we were right. And now you're in a bind, and now you're going to talk about we need to step up. What a moron. Idiot.
Continue to be my team's focus. If federal support is needed, I will direct all appropriate action. And if the private sector doesn't step up, we're going to call them out and ask them to act.
What the hell does he mean that the private sector doesn't step up? The private sector is the only one be keeping this country running. Us truck drivers, the private sector is the only one kept. How is it we were the heroes a year and a half ago? We're the villain. We're going to ask them to step up. Dude, we got trucks parked out in California right now, sitting at truck stops and everything, waiting for freight. We got one yard, I forget where it was at. They got 9 cranes on it. None of them are running. Not one of them. And all those truck drivers over there waiting to get in there. What else happened? California makes it illegal for any trucks more than 10 years old to run in their state. And yeah, we need y'all to step up. We need y'all to quit restricting us and let us do our damn job. We need y'all to get us loaded so we need you and your union buddies and all your union leader buddies that are sitting up there earning all this money off labor and talk about how we're working for labor and everything. We need to let y'all get y'all's crap together to get us loaded. They've been waiting on y'all for decades for this kind of crap on the road.
Because our goal is not only to get through this immediate bottleneck, but to address the long-standing weaknesses in our transportation supply chain that this pandemic has exposed.
The weaknesses is the unions. The weaknesses is the unions who won't let their workers work, who tell them to go home, who go on strike at massive times when our country needs them the most.
I might add, parenthetically, one of the reasons why I think it's very important that we get the infrastructure plan passed.
And there it is. Ding, 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 ding. That's the whole reason for the entire interview. That's why he's on television, to get that infrastructure bill passed. It isn't about getting truck drivers to go out there and do their jobs and thinking. It's to get that $38 trillion bill passed. That's the whole purpose. Now, do we need our ports improved? Of course we do. Highways, yes, all that stuff. But not $38 trillion worth, Joe. That's what him and all his union buddies are there for. That's the whole purpose of this interview.
My infrastructure plan. And that supply chain system is almost entirely in the hands of private business.
Right.
The world has changed.
Almost in the hands of private business. The only part that we're not in control of was the ports that y'all kept closed.
Prior to the crisis, we cheered, the focus on lean, efficient supply chains.
Which we should have. Listen to what he wants to happen next. Listen close to what he's going to, then we'll explain what he means. He's not telling you exactly what he means because he knows that most of you don't understand. But let's go ahead and listen to him.
Leaving no buffer or margin for error when it comes to certain parts arriving just in time is needed to make a final product. Our administration.
Right. Let me explain what that means. That means truck drivers are moving in just in time. We had it down to a science. We could move the products in, get it delivered. It was up on the docks. It was ready when it needed to be there. The docks weren't overfilled. The warehouses weren't overfilled. Drivers were not sitting around for hours and sometimes days on end waiting to get unloaded. That's called efficiency. Because when you got drivers that are sitting in places too long, see, truck drivers get paid by the mile. So every mile the truck rolls, we get paid. But if you have us sitting in a place for 15, 18, 24, 36, sometimes I was sitting for 72 hours before they finally got streamlined to where we're going in, dropping, and out. The other companies are ready. They move right along with it. It was a great little system. The only thing that kept this system from working right was when he told everyone to stay at home and not go to work. See, that's the problem.
Rock and ours, that's where it was just in time was the focus. We didn't have a pandemic and other things at the time. We needed to.
The pandemic was not the problem. The staying at home was the problem.
A longer view, though, that invest in building greater resilience to withstand the kinds of shocks we've seen over and over, year in and year out, whether it's the pandemic, extreme weather, climate change, cyber attacks, or other disruptions.
Let me explain. If everything else, if we need to go listing all these little things that we got to get ready for, ready to prepare because it's happening and everything, we flew through every one of them. The bad weather, we kept freight moving. The cyber attacks, the guys, I could go into a whole total video about that. We kept the freight moving. The climate change thing, I don't get that at all. I don't see how climate change has slowed down freight at all. That's it. That's him trying to sell an idea. That's him trying to sell something to scare you. The weather is the climate change. So we went through the bad weather. We make it through all that stuff. The only thing that caused this problem was him and his union buddies closing those ports down. A lot of people say, well, if it was made in America, we wouldn't. Yeah, you would. Because his union workers work all across the United States and dispatching everything. We could not have got it done because they were not working.
In fact, research tells us that a company can expect to lose over 40% of 1 year's earnings every 10 years due to supply chain disruptions.
Really?
A longer-term view means we invest in systems that have more time built in.
More time built in. So as long as you're open 24 hours a day and you can man them, we got more time built in. We don't need those. Okay. We do need to upgrade our infrastructure, that's for sure. But as far as more time built in, we don't want more time built in. Nobody wants to sit around with full warehouses and we pay rent on that and taxes on it and everything else. No truck driver wants to be sitting around in a parking lot waiting for days to get unloaded. We don't need more time. We need your damn ports open and your union workers to do their damn job instead of sitting there trying to do the least they can do for the most amount of money.
And our ability to produce, innovate, and partner with our allies. It also means companies throughout the supply chain, like maritime, air freight, and trucking companies, reduce their carbon emissions and help to meet our.
What the hell does our carbon emissions have to do with getting freight somewhere on time? Not a damn thing. Now, do I want it? I want carbon emissions reduced too. I don't like it. I don't like smelling exhaust and everything out there. I want it reduced. But to be honest with you, that has not one damn thing to do with how fast we move freight.
Change goals. It also means creating and supporting good paying jobs.
My God, are you kidding me? Walmart is starting off forklift operators at $17, $18 an hour right now. Starting off brand new people. Just can't get them to go to work because you told them not to.
Want to stay in these jobs so they can build the skills and careers and to make a decent living. It means more opportunities to join a union.
What the hell makes him think we want to join a union? The unions got us in this mess. The unions are what created this whole catastrophe. I don't want to be a part of a union. I like being able to dictate how much I get paid. I don't want some fat cat who's making millions of dollars off union dues telling me that I maxed out at a certain point, or that I can only work certain hours, or I can only go in here whenever they say so. Retard.
These steps are critical. They allow companies to pivot quickly when a disruption hits because they've invested in their workers.
Really? He just said joining unions and everything helps the companies pivot quicker. No, it doesn't. We already proved that by watching your ports fail.
Their workers' skills and training up front to be able to adapt. We need to invest in making more of our products right here in the United States.
Holy cow! What did you say? Because that's exactly what Trump said for 4 years, and you argued with him. Exactly what Trump said.
Never again should our country and our economy be unable to make critical products we need.
Who said that? Who else? Where did I hear that from? Oh, Donald Trump. Donald Trump said the exact same thing, and when he said it, you said he was wrong. You and your Democratic cronies called him a fool and an idiot and everything else when he said the exact same thing that this nutcase right here is saying.
Because we don't have access to materials to make that product. Never again should we have to rely too heavily on one company or one country or one person in the world, particularly.
And who's he talking about? Who do we depend on? China. Who said that we shouldn't be depending on China? Trump. What did Trump do? He got to a trade war that we finally won and everything, and things we weren't dependent on them, and it was a trade-off and everything. We were working great with them, and then what did this moron do? What did he do? What did he do? That's right. He erased all of it, and now he's got us back dependent on him again.
When countries don't share our values when it comes to labor and environmental standards.
Yet his son works for that company over there, don't he? A government-owned company in China. His son gets paid millions of dollars a year for doing nothing from that company that does not agree with our standards and everything. See, it's too good for us. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. But my son could go over there and make millions. My son, who's not even qualified for the job, by the way.
I've said before, we're in the competition for the 21st century.
Wait a minute. I thought Trump said that too. But he was wrong when he said it.
We are America. We still have the most productive, the most innovative minds in the world.
And when Donald Trump said that, he was a racist.
But the rest of the world is closing in.
And when Donald Trump said that, he was a racist.
We risk losing our edge if we don't step up.
And when Donald Trump said that, he was a racist.
In order to be globally competitive, we need to improve our capacity to make things here in America.
And when Donald Trump said that, he was a racist.
While also moving finished products across the country and around the world.
And you know how Donald Trump did that? By suspending our hours of service and letting drivers move all the time. Because he had to make up for when the ports were closed down. And so he had drivers suspend. Truck drivers, we can only work so many hours a day. By law, we can only work 14 hours a day. We can only drive 11. We can only work 70 hours a week. But when the country was in trouble, he did away with all those rules so we could keep product moving and everything because your union buddies still want to be off at night and off on weekends.
We need to think big and bold. That's why I'm pushing
You just need to think.
Generation investment in our infrastructure and our people with my infrastructure bill and my Build Back Better Act.
But it sounds like a blah, idiot.
Billions of dollars for ports, highways, rail
I agree
systems.
with that. I agree we need that.
Surely need upgrading.
Badly.
We bring products faster and more efficiently from the factories to the store to your
Yes.
house.
Yes.
Let me be clear. We're proposing to make the biggest investment in ports in our history. The bill would also make investments in our supply chains and manufacturing and strengthening our
Listen to what he says.
to make more goods
Listen to what he says.
from beginning to end right here in America. The bottom
That's a lie.
line, we've seen the cost of inaction in the pandemic, and the delays, and the congestion.
The cost of inaction in the pandemic that him and his union buddies caused.
Affect every American. But it's fully within our capacity to act.
Just like Trump told you.
To make sure it never happens again.
Just like Trump told you.
It's going to take a little time. And that we've unlocked the full might and dynamism.
And that was the funny part, because Trump had a plan that it wasn't going to take that much time at all. Y'all wouldn't back it.
Of our economy and our people. That's what we're going to do. God bless you all, and may God bless the longshoremen, rail workers, truckers.
How in the hell is he going to sit there and say, God bless the rail workers, truckers, and everybody else that he just blamed for the problem? Now after you go sit there and tell them, you're going to call us out, but thank you, God bless y'all. You know what? God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir, because you need it. Bless your heart.
All the workers are keeping our economy going. May God protect them.
All the workers are keeping our economy going, not the ones that we paid to stay home, and not the union workers. Right, the American truck drivers. Thank us. That's right. Thank us while you were hiding in your basement. Thank us for running out here on fuel that's going up so high because you shut down the Keystone Pipeline. Thank us. That's right. No, instead you're going to sit there and try to blame us.
Thank you all so very much.
And that's the best way I can describe this video, people. I had to come on here and do it because he had so many things he has just lied about over and over and over. Talking about there's not enough trucks out there. There's hundreds of trucks out there waiting to get loaded. His union and his union buddies and all those people he paid to stay home and Governor Newsom, who said and made all these crazy restrictions for trucks to be run in California, that caused your supply break. How do I know? Because I work at it every damn day. Out.